I thought I should do Jasmine's tag while I have it in my mind. Here's Birdie. She's still progressing. She's not quite herself yet. She's still a little bit slow, not quite as active and strong as she was, but much better than when she was getting her medicine. Okay, Jasmine's first tag question. Okay, but do you buy yourself a present? Yes, I do. Sometimes I buy myself several presents. Do I struggle in... I do that because... I don't know. I guess as a child, our Christmases were so magical. I am the youngest of 6 children, and I've always had both parents living and staying married to each other. So Christmas was a big event. So were birthdays, really. My parents always celebrated big. We got lots of presents. We got homemade food and big meal and people coming over and everybody happy and music. So when you grow up and the family gets bigger, but it doesn't stay the same. Things are too expensive, so everybody can't buy everybody a gift anymore. You're not a child anymore, so that wonderment and excitement is kind of gone. But I kind of like to try and hang on to that a little bit. So I buy myself gifts to try and hang on a little bit to that excitement that I had as a child, I guess. Do I struggle in conversations at Christmas gatherings? I struggle in conversations always. I have a bit of social phobia. I'm shy. So conversations are never that easy for me, although I think I'm a lot better at it than I give myself credit for. What advantages do I take at Christmas time? I think I'm going to sneeze. This is a difficult question. I think it has been for a lot of people because we don't quite know how to answer it. I take advantage of the Christmas season to eat a lot and to spend a lot. I think that's the two biggest advantages that I take. As a kid, did I peek at presents? Yes, I did. And I think I've told the story of I was playing with my dog. I was chasing him around the house. And he ran upstairs and under my parents' bed. And I went after him and looked under my bed. Well, that's where the presents were hidden. And that's where I saw the kiddie pool table that my sister got from Santa Claus on Christmas. So I found out then that Santa Claus wasn't real. I don't really remember that was an accident. I don't really remember actively going and peeking for presents. I'm going to say no to that question then, because that incident was an accident. I didn't want to peek at presents because I didn't want to spoil the surprise. Now, like I said, I was the youngest of 6, and there was always people here in this house, so sneaking around and doing things in other people's rooms were kind of difficult because there was always people around. And my older brothers and sisters liked to keep the mystery in holidays and stuff. So they would have frowned upon my sneaking around to find things too. They would have told me, don't do that. That's, you don't want to ruin the surprise on Christmas Day. So I don't remember sneaking and peeking. I remember it being fun to hide your gifts and to keep it a secret into that day. Then the last question, I believe, is, do we have Christmas traditions? Now, I've answered this too, and we have tons of Christmas traditions that go back generations, at least 2 or 3 generations in some cases. We always buy lots of gifts for each other. We can't do that as much anymore because of the economy. But we still buy for the children. My parents still buy each of us some things, and we all buy our parents stuff. But the siblings, the original 6, we don't buy for each other anymore. But as a kid, my parents, of course, being very musical, my dad with trumpet and singing bass, and my mom being a classical soprano, they were always involved in the choir at church, so we always had to go, and we're Catholic, we always had to go to every Mass on Sunday and Holy Day of Obligation, and we went on midnight Mass at Christmas, and it was at midnight. We had to stay up and get all dressed up in suits and dresses and go there at midnight, and it was a big spectacle back then with brass quintet and choir and organ, and my family was involved in that. Christmas Eve, that was Christmas midnight Mass on Christmas Eve, but before then, we would do our Christmas present ritual, where we would lie down on the floor, kids, and we would cover our eyes and sing Christmas carols, and one by one, we would go to where our presents were hidden that had all been wrapped earlier in the evening. See, this gets so difficult because we have so many traditions. First thing on Christmas Eve, we would, after dinner usually, I think, after dinner, before dinner, no, I think it was before dinner, but evening, we would go to our respective bedrooms and hiding places where we hid our presents, and we would take them out, wrap them. Then we'd have dinner. Then afterwards, we would lay down on the floor, us kids and mom and dad. We'd hide our eyes and sing Christmas carols, and one by one go to where we hid our wrapped presents, then bring them under the tree, and then ring reindeer bells, and that was a signal for everybody to uncover their eyes, stop singing, and look at the pile of presents. We'd do that one by one until there was a mound of presents all around the tree. Then later that night, midnight, we'd go to midnight Mass. Then we'd come home, go to bed. Then Christmas, we'd wake up, and there'd be presents around from Santa Claus. And then later in the day, we would start doing our Christmas exchange. I don't remember if we had our big lunch first and then did the exchange. Maybe that's how it was. My mom would make a huge meal, and she'd make all the homemade candies, tons. Fudge Divinity, 6-pound roll, Noel balls, peanut brittle, tons of stuff. And she still does that. Then we'd have our big gift opening where everybody bought something for everybody. Weeks before, we all had made Christmas lists so everybody knew what you wanted, looking through the catalogs and writing a wish list, want list, so everybody knew what it was you wanted. And usually my brother then, Mike, would go to the piano, the baby grand, that used to be in the dining room, and he would sit down and he'd play Christmas carols. And usually on Easter and sometimes Christmas, he would play Handel's Messiah, and the family would gather around and sing in parts: soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Usually the Hallelujah chorus, and we would all sing Christmas carols. At night on Christmas Eve, we would, after we did the present thing, we would sit around with the lights off, just the Christmas lights on, and we'd sing Christmas carols with the candle lit over the manger with the Star of Bethlehem. So those were some of our Christmas traditions. And this video is probably getting long because, like I said, we had tons of them. And it makes me sad sometimes to remember we still all gather and we still do a lot of those things. But my brother Mike, having passed away now, we no longer sing like we used to. He would just go to the piano. He was musically gifted from my dad, who was musically gifted from his parents. She was a piano player. She loved ragtime. She taught piano. She got a music degree from DePaul University. She was the church organist and choir director at the Methodist Church, and my mom's mother was the choir church organist for the Catholic Church. And my mom's a Catholic classical soprano, grew up in the choir loft, and my dad was raised to play piano and trumpet, plus sing. So we all had to play piano plus an instrument of choice. I've told that story. But anyway, Mike kept up his music, and he was a great piano player. He just could sit down and play anything without music and sing. I miss that. He passed away. He was an alcoholic, and he passed away. Angela, she kept up her music. She plays violin and keyboard, and she can go and sit at the piano and play stuff, but she more needs music. She doesn't play piano as much as she plays violin. But she can if she has the music. So every once in a while she will, but not as much as Mike always did. But anyway, I digress. Right, Birdie? This video's gotten long enough. Bye.